Good afternoon. Our discussion for today would be the chapter 8 of our book, which is the cost management for product life cycle costing and long-term pricing, target costing and theory of constraint. Medyo mahaba lang, but this discussion would be really quick lang din po. Life cycle costing and the other terms being mentioned earlier was already mentioned in the chapter 4 of our book. So, during the discussion of our contemporary cost management techniques, na-mention na po natin itong life cycle costing. So, now, moving forward, um, why life cycle costing matters? Technically, we've been using yung ating traditional costing. Mas nagiging focus kasi tayo in the computation of our manufacturing costs. Literal na how are we going to produce the product or what are the costs needed in the production of our goods or in the provision of our services. So technically, traditional costing often focuses only on the initial production cost. Meaning, kung ang focus lang natin is just the production process, yun lang manufacturing cost, your TMCs, we miss the bigger financial picture. Just a perfect example of this. Nung bang ikaw ay halimbawa, for example, ang Apple nagbenta ng iPhone. Si Apple ba bago nakapagbenta ng iPhone, yun kagad materials, labor, and overhead ang na-incur nila? Definitely, it is not as easy as that. So, life cycle costing now, it talks about from the moment that the product was being developed hanggang si product or the service ay nakarating sa end users. So, life cycle costing as we define captures all costs from research and development through to manufacturing, marketing, after-sales support, and ultimately hanggang sa disposal. So, it is being used. Another why it is important or why life cycle costing matters is that it is being used in strategic decision making. So, by revealing the total product cost over its entire lifespan, LCC enables more informed and strategic decisions, optimizing long-term profitability. So, ano ba yung sinasabi natin, ma'am? Being mentioned kanina na ang traditional costing is, ang focus lang is just the manufacturing cost. Hindi natin na i-consider yung cost before the manufacturing and after the manufacturing. Unlike with the life cycle costing kasi, we consider the cost, all of the costs that was being incurred or were being incurred during the entire lifespan of the product. So consider the Apple's iPhone models. LCC would analyze not just manufacturing costs but also the significant investment. So bago nakarating sa production ng iPhones, but also the extensive global marketing, paano nila ito naibenta ngayon, nakapasok sa merkado.
It's 12 o'clock.
That's actually, we're talking now about the LCC. So moving forward, let's first understand what life cycle costing is. So again, it is a strategic approach to estimating the total cost of a product throughout its entire lifespan. Again, ulit-ulit ko pong binabanggit, when it comes to LCC, we consider not just your manufacturing cost or your production cost, but we also consider from the all costs that was being incurred from its initial conception up to its ultimate disposal. So this holistic view provides critical insights for making informed decisions regarding profitability and long-term pricing strategies. So dun tayo sa total cost estimation. LCC estimates total cost from product inception to disposal. So paulit-ulit lang po ito. So later on, we will discuss more kung ano nga ba yung mga cost na pinag-uusapan natin when it comes to LCC. So moving forward, the product life cycle is divided into two. So, meron tayong tinatawag na cost life cycle at meron din po tayong tinatawag na sales life cycle. When we say cost life cycle, these are the sequence of activities within the firm that begins with research and development, followed by design, then manufacturing, hanggang sa makarating na nga ito sa marketing, distribution, and of course, the customer service or yung tinatawag nating after sales support. So, the another one is your sales life cycle. Later on, we will discuss further about these two. The another one is actually the sales life cycle. So, ito lang, pinapakita lang kasi sa sales life cycles from the moment that the product was being introduced sa market hanggang siya sa ay totally mawala na. So, moving forward, key cost strategies in life cycle costing. These are just the examples, no? But a more detailed one is here. So, number one is actually your upstream costs. The upstream costs are those costs that are incurred before the production begins. So, kanina binabanggit natin, traditional costing kasi ang focus na talaga is just the manufacturing of the product or the cost incurred in the provision of the service. So, yung upstream costs, these costs ay na-incur bago na mag-start yung production process. Ibig sabihin, these costs ay halimbawa, bago nga nakapagbenta ng iPhone, nagkaroon muna ng research, of course. After the research, of course, you then develop your product. After the development, nagkakaroon ka na ngayon ng conceptual design. So, yung design kasi being mentioned conceptual pa lang, you have to make a sample. Ngayon, isasabuhay mo na, i-execute mo na ngayon yung nasa design mo by using or by doing your detailed prototyping. So, after you make or isinabuhay mo na ngayon yung naka-design by having your prototype, yung prototype ngayon will be tested. So, bago magkaroon ng mass production, yung naging research na nagkaroon ng development, hanggang sa nagkabuo ng conceptual design, nagkaroon ng execution by producing a sample, which is your prototype, hanggang sa matest ngayon si prototype. If all of the tests are okay, it would then be forwarded na sa mass production. So, technically, ibig sabihin lang natin, bago pa magkaroon ng actual production of your goods or your products, nag-i-incur na po tayo ng cost. So, these costs are called your upstream costs. So, next in line is your manufacturing cost. Ito, kilala na natin or alam na natin to, I believe. These costs are those costs that are incurred in the production of your product. So, we're talking about your direct materials, your direct labor, your overhead costs. So, moving forward, hindi naman natatapos na yung pag-incur natin ng cost right after matapos yung product. We will now then move forward with your downstream costs. When we say downstream costs naman, these are costs incurred after the product leaves the factory. So, natapos na yung produkto natin, definitely you'll move forward you'll move forward with then on the distribution of your products. So, this category covers your marketing and advertising campaigns, distribution, of course, and logistics expenses, warranty claims, customer service and technical support, and any costs associated with product recalls. So, yung mga binabanggit natin dito na warranty claims, yung mga product recalls, hindi pa pagka bumili tayo, halimbawa, ng product, halimbawa, an iPhone, or let's just say bumili ka ng refrigerator, hindi pa nakalagay doon. Sa pag binigyan ka ng resibo is merong warranty certificate. So, yung warranty certificate na yon for a certain period of time, yung kung magkakaroon man ng defect or magkakaroon ng, let's just say, kailangang i-repair yung unit at pasok pa dun sa warranty period, yung warranty, yung pagki-claim ngayon ni consumer, halimbawa ako si consumer, bumili ako ng ref, pag nag-claim ako na pasok pa naman sa warranty period, hindi ko babayaran yon. Yung expense na yon ay part of the downstream cost of the product ni manufacturer. So, basically, para mas madaling intindihin, hindi ba pagka nag-claim tayo ng warranty at pasok nga dun sa warranty period, hindi tayo nagbabayad. Ang nagko-cover ngayon ng cost ay yung manufacturer. Now, these costs being covered by the manufacturer after sales na yon na tinatawag natin are all part of your downstream cost pa din. So, moving forward, why design is important? Design, as we mentioned earlier, is part of your upstream cost. So, design is being incurred bago pa man magkaroon ng mass production or yung mismong manufacturing of your goods. So, number one, it is important or very critical dahil although the cost incurred in this design stage may be very small lang naman in relation to total cost over the life cycle decision because they lock in most of the remaining life cycle costs. Ibig sabihin, hindi ba, bago tayo magkaroon ng mass production, nagde-design muna. Ngayon, kung magkakaroon ng halimbawang defect sa units or nagkaroon ng long-term effect, it all depends with the design. So, medyo magulumam pa, no? Number one, why is it important? Why is it critical for success factor? Doon pa lang sa design stage. Number one, it reduces time to market. Speed of product development and the speed of delivery and efforts to reduce time to market are critical for a business firm to sustain its competitiveness. So, later on, we will discuss more specifically during dun sa cost life cycle wherein we will discuss more yung product differentiation hanggang sa mapunta siya sa cost leadership para ma-sustain yung competitiveness kasi ng manufacturer. So, next is reduce expected service cost. Ito yung mini-mention natin kanina. Yung nagiging design ng product, it is very critical kasi it will affect the entire life's other total cost. Sabihin natin minimal naman yung design. Kaya lang, if we will look into what was discussed or mentioned earlier, hindi ba bago nagkaroon ng mass production, nagkaroon muna ng conceptual design. Ngayon, yung nag-dictate on how you'll manufacture is nakadepende ka dun sa naging design. And by careful, simple design and the use of interchangeable modular components, it can reduce the expected service cost. So, kung okay yung design at rest assured na dumaan ng proper testing, prototyping, bago nagkaroon ng mass production, technically, you lessen the possibility na nagkakaroon ng product recall. So, yun. So, improve ease of manufacture. Definitely, hindi ka naman bubuo ng isang product na mahirap gawin. So, design must be easy to manufacture in order to reduce the production cost and speed production. Hindi ba, in our previous discussion, we've been mentioning this na for you to retain your customers, of course, you have to satisfy them. And for you to acquire, of course, you also have to satisfy your customers. And one of the things that being considered by these customers or these consumers is that yung timeliness. So, speed. Kung halimbawa, let's just say, example na lang natin to, just an example. Kung yung isa kayang gawin ng 1 day, yung isa kaya ng 1 week, definitely, kung ikaw ang consumer, pipiliin mo yung kayang gumawa ng 1 day, provided that they have the same quality. So, what we are just being emphasized here is that if you're going to design a product, make it to the point that it is easy to manufacture. Kasi nga, one of the things that being considered by the consumer right now is the speed of production. And again, it also has an implication on the total production cost. The longer the time you produce your product, the higher the cost you incur. Mas mahaba ang production period, mas mataas ang nagiging gastos mo. And lastly, is your process planning and design. The plan for the manufacturing process should be flexible, allowing for fast setups and product changeovers using computer-integrated manufacturing. So, yun lang naman yun. So, it is a process of planning and design. So, later we will discuss. I'll skip this slide for now kasi mame-mention po ito mamaya. So, these are just the common design models. So, I will no longer dig deeper with this one. So, before we move forward with the cost management cycle, let's have first an illustration about life cycle costing and pricing. So, in the illustrative case number 1, life cycle costing and pricing. Star Communications Technologies has introduced a new phone so small that it can be carried in a wallet. So, si Star Communications daw ay nag-manufacture ngayon, nag-introduce ng maliit na phone. Star invested 400,000 in research and development for the technology and another 800,000 to design and test the prototypes. Now, Star predicts a 4-year life cycle for this model and gathered this cost for the wallet phone. So, being mentioned kanina as part of your given, nag-invest na daw ng 400,000 for the R&D and another 800,000 para naman sa test and design and test of the prototypes. So these costs being mentioned at first are all part of your upstream costs. So R&D and the design. These are the other costs naman ngayon in the manufacturing. So merong monthly fix which is 25 at variable cost per unit na 20. When it comes to marketing naman, your downstream, part of the downstream, at saka itong mga distribution, ito yung other costs. Now, here's another part of the problem. For price of 150, the average annual rates daw ay 80,000. Kung 180 naman, the average annual rates ay 60,000. And for price of 225, the annual average annual rates ay 48,000. Ibig sabihin, kung pepresyon mo daw ng 150, mabebenta mo lang ay 80. Kung 180 naman, 60. Kung 225, 48,000 lang. Now, if the price of a wallet phone is 225, ibig sabihin mas mahal among the three, Star will have to increase the research and the model for the higher price. Fixed customer service costs also would increase by level of 150. Fixed marketing costs would be reduced by 5,000 per month because the low price would be the principal selling feature. Now, we have to determine the life cycle for each pricing decision. So, pakikita lang natin yung magkano yung would be the total sales, magkano ngayon yung magiging total cost. Now, the next question is, what price will produce the most profit? So, among the three, saan tayo mas kikita? Now, here's the competition of that one. Pero I believe this one is wrong. I'll check about the competition this 180. Kasi as mentioned kanina, 60,000. So, we just have to modify this one, 60,000. Pero the total amounts are correct naman. So, kanina sabi 150, 80,000 mapagbebentahan. 80,000 units ang mabebenta. So, 180,000, 80,000 pala, sorry. Multiply by 150 is 12 million. So, kung 180, 60,000 lang. Tama, 10.8 million. And if the price is 225 per unit, 48,000 lang yung mabebenta, you'll have 10.8 million as part of the revenue. Now, we have to take note of this. As part of the given kanina, ang fix kanina, mababago lang sa R&Ds, magdadagdag ng 100,000. Kung magiging 225 pesos daw yung ating balikan natin yung ating price. So, magiging 500 na. If the prototypes naman, 800, madadagdagan ng 400,000 naman si prototyping. So, magiging 1.2. So, moving forward with the manufacturing, fix lang naman, given naman to kanina, 25,000. Di ba 4 years yung binigay na life, product life. So, for 25,000 times 12 months times 4 years. So, fix nga at 1.2. Nagkaroon lang siya ng difference pagdating dito sa variable cost. The variable cost is 20. So, 20, kaya lang 80,000 niya. So, 1.6. 20 times 860 is 1.2. Then, moving forward. Sa marketing, ito yung nagkakaroon ng changes. Kasi sa marketing, ang binigay naman talaga is 20,000. So, ayun. Yun nga na, pagdating daw ng 2025, mas mababa. Kasi kung 225, magiging 15,000 na lang daw yung marketing cost instead of 20. Kaya magiging 15,000 times 12 times 4 is 720. Bakit na iba? Tama. Magdadagdag. Tama. Sorry. Correct. mali pala, sorry. If the price is 150, less 5,000 ang mai-incur na fixed marketing cost. So, from 20,000 yung incur dun sa ano. So, 12 months, tama. Times 4 years is 960. So, naka-fix yung 180 tsaka 225. If the price is 150, less 5,000, so 15,000 na lang po yung magiging fixed marketing, multiplied by 12 times 4 is 720. Kung mapapansin natin, bumaba ito. Kasi nga, nag-less ng 5,000 per month. And when it comes to variables, ayun, the 5 pesos per unit. So, next in line is yung ating fixed customer service naman, excuse me. Di ba sa customer service is 3,000 times 12 times 4. Pero pagdating ng 225 kasi na presyo, mag-incur doon ng additional 500 pesos. Kaya naging 160. So, considering all the cost, di ko na i-dig deeper. If we will total all of the cost that was mentioned as part of the condition kung magtataas ng presyo, obviously, yung total cost na may incur kapag 150, 7.3 million lang. Pero mapagbebentahan is 12. So, basically, among the three, kung pagko-compare natin yung revenue to total cost, most profitable si 150, kung ganun lang yung presyo. Pag 180 naman, yung magiging kita ay 6.6. So, next in line is yung 180. Kaya lang kung mag-i-invest, kung tataas mo naman ng presyo at gano'n naman kalaki yung magiging investment, obviously, halos paspasan lang sila, yung 180 tsaka yung, tama, halos paspasan lang. So, among the three, you'll definitely choose yung 150 kasi it is the most profitable. Most profitable sa lahat. Tama ba? So, let me correct this one. Kasi total cost should be 6.6. So, this amount na 4.1 na binabanggit is actually the income na. So, the total cost of, if the price is 180, would incur 6.624. So, the income would be 4.1. Ngayon, yung dito sa 225 naman, 501, 2, 1, 2, 960 plus 960, 240, 168, 384, 240, 960, 6812. Yun yung total cost. And again, this, what was indicated here is actually the income na. Ito naman, ito nagkamali. This is the total cost naman nito. So, if you will compute, the most profitable one still is yung 150, no? Correct? I apologize for the error here in the illustration. So, moving forward, now, since we have discussed the sales life cycle, the cost life cycle as per the life cycle costing, moving forward with another one, which is the sales life cycle. Now, when we say sales life cycle, as mentioned earlier, it is actually the sequence of phases in the products or service life in the market. So, ito yung from the moment that the product was introduced in the market, mag-grow, mag-mature, hanggang sa totally mawala na siya. So, ma-decline sa market. So, these actually the 4 stages, ano. Now, understanding the unique cost profiles of each stage is crucial for effective life cycle costing. So, the 4 stages of life cycle and cost implications ay ito. Number 1, introduction. It is characterized by R&D. So, ito, umpisa. Kaya nga ito ay tinawag na introduction. The product introduction is characterized by high research and development and marketing costs. Bakit? Because they need to be established, or they need to establish market presence. Coupled with low initial sales volume, focus is on innovation and market entry. At this point kasi, or at this phase or stage, mababa pa yung competition kasi nga pinapakilala mo pa lang yung product mo. So, it would then be followed by your growth. Before we move forward with growth. Sa introduction kasi, since you introduce your product, ito pa lang yung time na pinapakilala mo. So, lobo pa yung upstream cost mo by this time kasi dito mataas yung research and development. Now, since you've already entered your market, you then move forward with your growth. At this point or at this phase naman, the sales already accelerate. So, production cost increase, kasabay yun, kung tumataas ang sales, definitely tataas din yung production cost. But these are balanced by rising revenue. Sumasabay. The emphasis shifts to scaling production and market expansion. At this time kasi, the focus na is new product is pricing strategy kasi nagkakaroon ka na ng competition ngayon. Halimbawa, may nag-offer ng, let's just say, ng payong. Bukas makalawa may nag-offer na rin na iba, pero payong din ang tinitinda. So, different sellers, pero same product. So, magiging competition nyo by this time, kasi nagmamature na nga, so stay stabilized and competition intensifies is your cost optimization. You have to take note na itong maturity and decline, pababa na dito kasi may competition na. If we would observe, dun sa introduction, nag-umpisa tayo sa product differentiation. You try to develop a new product. You try to introduce a new product by producing, let's just say, meron naman cellphone na sa merkado. But the only difference is that you introduce something new o pwedeng conduct ka ng research, nag-develop ka ngayon, din in-improve mo yung existing product. So, nag-introduce ka ng something new function sa product na to. Now, you introduce this phone in the market. So, at that point, mapapansin natin na nagkaroon ng product differentiation. Kaya lang, nung may nag-offer din ng same product, from product differentiation, you try to optimize your costs. By optimization of your costs, you then move forward to cost leadership. Nangyari, nung una kasi wala kang kalaban eh. So, okay lang na mataas ang presyo mo. Kaya lang as days pass by or as the years pass by na nagkakaroon ng competition kasi ang sabi ng ibang kalaban or ibang competitor, mag-introduce din ako ng version ko. So, magiging difference na lang namin dalawa is baka yung presyo or definitely the price. Kailangan mas mura yung akin. So, habang tumatagal, kaya nagkakaroon ng decline. For you to retain in the market, kailangan cost competitive ka or price competitive ka. Yung cost mo, hindi ganun lumalaban yung cost mo. At the same time, hindi kasi po pwede na masyado mo nang binaba yung cost, compromise ang quality. Po pwede na binaba mo yung price, pero niretain mo yung cost, kaya lang hindi ka naman kikita. So, that's actually the idea of that. So 4 stages of life cycle or dun sa sales life cycle, from the moment that the product was introduced, hanggang sa unti-unti na siyang mawala sa market. Ang naiiwan sa merkado ay yung kayang magbaba ng presyo na mananatiling kumikita without compromising the quality. So, yun lang naman yung sa part natin ng both your cost life cycle and the product, the sales life cycle when it comes to product life cycle costing. So, if we would conclude, in traditional costing, again, we only focus with the production cost, the manufacturing cost. And like with the life cycle costing, we consider even the cost incurred before the manufacturing its process up to the moment that the product was delivered to the end user. So from your upstream to manufacturing to your downstream cost. Now moving forward, what are the strategic benefits of life cycle costing? So it was being mentioned naman na kanina, definitely cost reduction kasi nga considering also the cost that being incurred in your design phase or your upstream cost, it would then affect the total cost that will be incurred in the entire lifespan of the product. So by considering or by investing on your design, yung less yung possibility na mag-incur ka ng additional cost on the latter part of or later life of your product. So, budget accuracy improves budgeting accuracy and facilitates more efficient resource allocation, definitely. Competitive edge, definitely kanina, di ba? We also consider yung cost optimization, hindi ba? And of course, most importantly is sustainable profitability. Kasi kung nakafocus ka lang sa manufacturing, you only focus on the current cost or yung only a portion of the entire lifespan of the product. So considering both the upstream hanggang sa downstream, you consider the long-term profitability of your product. So just before we move forward with the target costing, so just an example of what application lang nung ating diniscuss. So copier life cycle cost comparison. In this illustration, we can see a copier A and copier B. Sa copier A, ang presyo niya is 3,500. Kaya lang sa B, mas mahal, na doble yung presyo, 7,000. Kaya lang ano yung difference? Aside from the price, nag-invest ka doon sa mura, kaya lang, mas you only consider the purchase price. Ibig sabihin, you only consider yung current cost. You do not consider yung entire lifespan of the product. Mura nga, kaya lang, it costs you a higher operating and maintenance cost. Unlike kung nag-invest ka dito sa 7,000, you do not consider kasi na, mas mahal nga siya, pero lower pala yung magiging total life cycle cost nito kasi yung efficiency. Pwede natin gawing example, kung yung copier A, monthly pala yung nagiging maintenance, si copier B po pwedeng quarterly lang. So, technically, kung ganun kadalas yung maintenance, mas mataas yung nagiging cost nito in the long run. Unlike kasi kay copier B na quarterly lang, 4 times a year lang yun. So, this example demonstrates the critical importance of evaluating the total life cycle cost rather than solely focusing on the purchase price. A seemingly cheaper initial investment can lead to significantly higher expenses over the product lifespan. So, yun lang naman. Now, we then consider these are just the benefits why life cycle costing is important for pricing. Now, moving forward with the target costing. Kailangan natin palengke. So, the market-driven foundation of target costing. Actually, a formula naman ng target costing is just this. How do we compute for the target cost? We do have your market selling price less your desired profit margin. So, obviously, target costing begins with deep market analysis, understanding your customer needs, competitor pricing, and acceptable features, of course. What do we mean by that? So, ang formula nga ay market selling price. Ano nga ba yung presyo na bibilihin ng consumers, at the same time competitive enough para manalo ka over your competitors, and of course kayang i-cover ngayon yung desired profit margin mo. So it would only answer yung question na magkano ngayon yung target cost ko, na sure akong pasok yung magiging kita ko based lang dun sa presyo na tanggap sa merkado. So do we get that point? I hope we're getting that point, no? We're targeting the cost based dun sa selling price and profit margin na tina-target natin. So at first, we consider your market price. So it begins by identifying the market price customers are willing to pay for a product, ensuring commercial viability from inception. And it would then be followed by profit subtraction, wherein your desired profit margins are then subtracted from this market price, revealing the maximum allowable cost for the product. So, lalabas, kung meron ka na kasing yung selling price and yung desired profit margin, you'll then be able to compute for your target cost. So, yun yung target cost natin. Now, the question now is why target costing works early in product development. So, the initial design phase is arguably the most crucial stage for cost control. Diba, paulit-ulit natin minimension kanina why design phase is really important. Kasi it would definitely define or it would definitely affect the entire lifespan of the product. So, decisions made here have profound and lasting impacts on total product expenses throughout its entire life cycle. So, staging 80% of a product's total life cycle costs are typically determined or locked in during the preliminary design and development stages. So, this early commitment underscores the immense power of proactive cost management. Now, foundational impact. Early design choices establish the cost structure, making it difficult and expensive to alter later in the production process. So, umpisa pa lang, dinedetermine mo na sa design phase pa lang kasi, you determine na which materials will be used, gaano katagal ko gagawin, what are the other costs that are needed in the production. So, proactive costing, target costing integrates cost consideration from inception. So umpisa pa lang, enabling the selection of cost-effective materials and processes. And of course, quality and value allows for innovation and cost savings without compromising product quality or customer value as exemplified by Toyota's design philosophy. Actually, kasi yung target costing was originated sa Toyota. So, why target costing matters in cost management? Traditional costing flaws. So, traditional cost plus pricing often leads to uncompetitive products and missed profit targets. Nangyayari kasi, before the idea was, okay, ito yung traditional cost, ito yung magagastos natin. So, magdagdag lang tayo, let's say, ng 25%. Kaya lang, by adding, nagsiset ka nga ng cost, ang idea dito is that there's a possibility na ma-miss mo ngayon yung profit target. Next in line is target costing's approach. By target costing kasi, it flips this by starting with the market price. Dito kasi, pag nag-target cost, you consider na both yung available, yung katanggap-tanggap na presyo sa merkado and also your desired profit. Kumbaga sini-safe keep mo na kung magkano yung dapat mo kitain. Yung target cost mo kasi would serve as your limit. So it aligns profit or it ensures your profitability. Yun nga yung pangatlo. Na it aligns product design, production, and marketing to ensure profitability from the outset. Meaning to say, kung nag-set ka kasi ng target cost, ito yung target ito lang yung limit natin para ma-reach mo ngayon yung desired profit. Provided na ito lang kasi ito lang yung presyo na pwede mo siyang ibenta. Now, what are the key elements of target costing? Implementing target costing effectively requires a multi-phased approach, blending collaborative efforts, systematic analysis, and a commitment to ongoing refinement and improvement. So, cross-functional collaboration, definitely. It brings together diverse teams, including marketing, design, engineering, and supply chain to collectively manage costs and enhance the overall value. Kasi ang hirap talagang mag-set ng target cost kung ikaw nag-set ka ngayon ng desired profit margin mo. So, you have to consider paano natin mapapababa yung cost. So, definitely, it's a combination or collaboration of different teams. Paano mapapababa yung mga non-value adding activities natin without compromising the quality. So, both value adding and non-value adding activities without compromising the quality of the product. Next is your value engineering, which is a systematic process of analyzing your product functions to identify and eliminate unnecessary costs, ensuring essential value is maintained or significantly enhanced. So, sa value is actually in target costing kasi, since it is being sa design phase pa lang, we try to kanina nga diba the market price is our profit, tapos yung target cost mahihit na natin yung kung paano ma-compute. Yung role ng value engineering kasi is we use this to move forward natin. We use value engineering to improve the value of the products or projects or processes by analyzing their functions. So, dito kasi, halimbawa na lang, we were talking about the functionality here in value engineering. Just an example of this is, sa example is group of product and camera, video equipment, or functionality can be added or deleted relatively easily. So, yung mga product na binanggit natin, camera, video equipment, your phones, have frequent new models or updates. So, target costing is more useful for products in this kind of products kasi large number of features about which the firm has some discretion. Another common type of value engineering employed in these firms is your functional analysis, which is in performance and cost of each major function or feature of products is examined. So, yun lang naman yung sa value engineering, no. Ang benchmarking naman talks about another example, another technique is yung benchmarking wherein we determine the features that give the firm a competitive advantage. So, ang kilala talaga when it comes to phones, na lang example natin is yung Apple and Samsung. So, benchmarking, bakit namin bibilin si iPhone compared to Samsung? Kaya 'di ba ang bilis ng update nilang dalawa? Recently, the Samsung S25 was issued. Ngayon, babanggit na naman na merong S26. Considering na si Apple is nag-introduce ng iPhone 16 Pro Max last year, tapos ngayon, i-release nila yung 17 naman. So, ganun kabilis yung update. Kaya nga yung value engineering ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. How are they going to improve the value of the products? So, improvement. Next in line here is your Kaizen costing. Kaizen is actually, as we know about this term, is a continuous improvement. So, Kaizen costing focuses on continuous incremental cost reduction efforts throughout the manufacturing phase, fostering a pervasive culture of efficiency and waste reduction. Dito kasi sa Kaizen costing, we focus here during the manufacturing stage. So, how are we going to make your manufacturing system flexible? So, paano natin mai-improve pa yung ating manufacturing process? How am I going to? So, hindi pala makita dahil may camera, no? So, here is an example of sa target costing wherein Motodrive manufactures a wide variety of products or recreational boating, including part A and part B component of high-powered outboard boat engines. The component is purchased by original equipment manufacturers such as Mercury and Honda for use in large, more powerful outboards. Now, the units sell for 510 and the sales volume averages 25,000 units per year. Now, recently, Motodrive's major competitor reduced the price of its equivalent part of 450. The market is very competitive and Motodrive realizes it must meet the new price and lose significant market share. Or, it will lose yung significant market share, no? So, the idea here is that si Motodrive, binebenta niya ng 510. Kaya lang yung competitor niya, binaba yung presyo, 450. So, meron silang significant enough yung amount kasi 60 pesos, no? Definitely, kung ikaw mamimili, pipiliin mo yung mas mura provided that they have the same quality. So, ang idea ni Motodrive, it's either I need to meet the new price or either way, I'll lose the significant market share. So, the controller has assembled these costs and usage data for the most recent year of Motodrive's production of 25,000 units. So, I'll move the in another slide for us to see the given. So, ito yung binigay na data for the production of the 25,000 units. As per standard, 25,000 lang talaga yung materials. Kaya lang on the actual 5.5. Nung tinotal itong actual cost, ang total ay 11.1. Kung dinivide sa 25,000 unit, the unit cost is 446. So, nung binawas natin sa selling price na 510, may profit item ka na 63.24. Now, if your target margin is, yung desired profit is 63 kasi nga ito yung naging parang benchmark mo na dun sa nauna. Parang ito na yung baseline mo. Ibawas mo ngayon dun sa bagong presyo o yung sa presyo ng kalaban mo, 450. Less yung 63.24, you'll have your target cost which is 450 minus 63.24, 386.76. Pero kung titingnan natin, how is it possible na ibaba natin yung 386? 446 nga yung cost natin. So, idea here is that, kung papansinin natin, as per standard, 5.1 pa lang, dapat, pero ang naging actual mo is 5.5. Meron difference dito na 375,000. Divide nyo sa 25,000. 15 pesos per unit. Ibig sabihin, kung yung actual cost mo ay mas malaki sa standard cost mo, when it comes to materials, Ang variance ay 375, which is unfavorable kasi mas malaki yung naging actual o yung na-incur mo compared sa dapat na nagastos mo lang. That is unfavorable. Definitely, hindi ka efficient enough. So, number one na pwede natin gawin is yung proper or yung sinasabi natin na maging efficient para malas yung gamit o yung masunod yung standard natin. So, significant enough kasi yung amount. Another one is, mula dun sa indirect labor pababa. Total natin yon ay 3,999,000. These are all non-value adding activities. These are not all directly related in the production. So, pwede nating i-eliminate. So, the total of that is 3.999. So, in units, 159 pesos. Kung ibabawas na natin, doon muna tayo dun sa 15, kulang pa din kasi 380, magkano yan? 450 less 6, 3.24. Ibabawas natin yung 15 pesos kanina na variance sa materials, 371 ang cost. Ay, no, 446 pala. 0.76 less 15. 431, kulang pa din. E di, bawas natin yung 159 na non-value adding activity. Pag binawas natin yung 446.76 yung 159.96 natin, 286, papasok ka dun sa target cost mo. Kasi nga, initially, ang target cost mo ay, ang cost mo talaga ay 446. Kaya lang, nung bumaba ang presyo ng kalaban mo, 450, at gusto mong i-retain yung profit mo na 63.24, kailangan ibaba mo yung cost mo ng 386. And for you to have that, matarget yung ganyang presyo at matarget mo din kasi yung profit mo provided natasapayan mo nga yung presyo ng kalaban mo. Kailangan mo bababa yung cost by removing all the non-value adding activities and of course considering the efficiency of using your materials. So pwede natin mapababa ngayon yung target cost and by doing that mahihit mo ngayon yung target natin. So moving forward, the last topic which is your theory of constraint. The theory of constraint, as we define, is actually the process of identifying and managing constraint in the making of products or in the providing of services. So basically, it only describes the methods of maximizing your operating income when faced with some bottleneck and some non-bottleneck operations. So ito na, nasa title na natin. How are you going to manage or maximize your profit by managing your bottlenecks? Saan nga ba nagkukos ng delay? Ano nga ba yung nagkukos ng delay? So, beyond merely setting cost targets, optimizing your operational flow is critical. The theory of constraint provides a powerful framework for achieving this by pinpointing and resolving system limitations. So, dito kasi, kung yung target costing nagpo-focus sa early phase ng costing, cost life cycle, dito, ang theory of constraint focuses on the manufacturing activity. So, dun sa during the manufacturing, saan nga ba nagkakaroon ng bottleneck? So, in the procedure, first, you have to identify the constraint. Locate the single weakest link or the bottleneck that limits the overall output or throughput of the entire system. Now, after you determine or you identify the constraint, you exploit, alisin natin. We maximize the efficiency and utilization of this constraint, ensuring it never runs idle or produces defective unit. And of course, you subordinate and elevate. Now, by integrating target costing and TOC or theory of constraint and product life cycle, the true power lies in combining these two. So, combining natin. Diba kanina binanggit natin the target costing sa umpisa, si TOC is ang during the manufacturing, kalagitnaan na. Target costing then also provides the strategic what. Ano nga ba yung desired natin na cost structure? Ano nga ba yung gusto lang natin na cost? Ano lang yung dapat? So, by doing that, by setting the target, you'll then use your TOC that offers the operational how. So, paano natin ma-achieve yung what? So, your TOC will give you the direction or the pathway to efficient execution for you to achieve your what or your desired cost structure, yung target cost mo. Again, yung TOC will serve as your direction, your pathway on how you're going to efficiently execute. So, paano mo gagawin yung isang product para ma-hit mo yung what o yung target cost or your desired cost structure mo. So, strategic cost goals defines or target costing defines the maximum allowable product cost directly aligning with market prices and desired profit margin. While operational efficiency, your TOC then optimizes the production process, ensuring that these costs are achievable by identifying and resolving bottlenecks. So this powerful synergy drives profitability across the entire product life cycle, from initial design through manufacturing hanggang sa ma-deliver na. Basically, kung nade-determine natin yung TOC will definitely help us kung paano natin mahihit yung ano. So, yun lang. So, before we end this discussion, let's just have an example of the theory of constraints. So, this is an example, no? Columbia Industries manufactures electronic testing equipment. Columbia also installs the equipment at customer sites and ensures that it functions smoothly. Additional information on the manufacturing installation departments is as follows. Capacities are expressed in terms of the number of units of electronic testing equipment. So, equipment manufactured, tapos here are the given. Equipment manufactured and equipment installed. For annual capacity, ang capacity ng manufacturing is 400, pero when it comes to installation, 300 lang kada taon. Now, ito yung actual. Yung na-manufacture is 300, tapos 300 lang din yung na-install. Now, Columbia manufactures only 300 units per year because the installation department has only enough capacity. Ibig sabihin, the capacity nga lang, nalilimit tuloy ngayon ng 300 lang. Kasi nga, yung installation, kahit na nakamagawa ng 400, 300 lang yung kayang install. So, nalilimitahan na tayo sa 300. The equipment sells for 40,000 per unit and has direct materials cost of 15,000. All costs other than that are fixed. So, Columbia's engineers have found a way to reduce equipment manufacturing time. The new method would cost an additional 50 pesos per unit and would allow Columbia to manufacture 20 additional units. Should Columbia? I don't think it would be the same answer. You don't need to invest on that 50 pesos per unit. Bakit? Definitely, kahit magdagdag ka ng mapoproduce, ang capacity mo lang naman mag-install 300 eh. Kahit madagdagan ka ng 20 na manufacture, ibig sabihin 420 na from 400. Still, 300 pa rin ang mabebenta mo. Bakit? Kasi 300 lang yung may install mo eh. So the answer is, it will cost Columbia 50 pesos per unit to reduce manufacturing time. But manufacturing is not actually your bottleneck. Installation is. Therefore, manufacturing more equipment will not increase sales and throughput contribution. Columbia Industries should not implement the new manufacturing method. So, yun. Another example is that in the case daw na Columbia designers have proposed a change in direct materials. That would increase direct materials cost by 2,000 per unit. This change would enable Columbia to install 320 na. So, ito na. Mapapalitan na ngayon yung 320. 300 kanina. If Columbia makes the change, it will implement the new design on all equipment sold. Should Columbia use this design? Definitely, yes. Kasi additional na relevant cost, in the later chapters of the book, matidiscuss natin yung relevant costing. Kung 2,000, so magiging 320, no? The additional cost will be 640. Kaya lang, kung mag-invest ka 640, magiging kita mo lang naman na magiging additional is yung additional 20, which is ang contribution margin mo. Contribution margin is computed by kung magkano mabinenta, 40, less yung 15,000 kanina na direct material cost, that would be 15,000. Less 15, so 25,000. Ang magiging additional na income mo lang naman ay 500. Bakit? 25,000 per unit, multiply by additional unit, which is 20. So, 500. Kailangan mag-invest ka ng 640 kasi 2,000 per unit eh. The additional incremental costs exceed the benefits from higher throughput contribution by 140. So, Columbia Industries should not implement the new design. So, ayun. Again, you'll not, just like in case number 1, itong proposed change in the direct materials ay hindi pa rin natin i-accept ni Columbia, dahil yung incremental cost would just exceed yung magiging income or benefit over that. And lastly, just the same pala to. So, ayun. To end this topic, it is just an example of the case study wherein si Toyota, yun nga, target costing success. Toyota has pioneered target costing since 1960s, embedding it into their automotive design and production processes. So their approach balances customer value, quality, and cost from the initial concept phase right through to mass production. The result is consistently competitive pricing for their high-quality vehicles, sustaining remarkable profitability in a challenging automotive market. If we are aware, the most recent product of Toyota that was recalled recently was Toyota Race. So there was this news, I think earlier this year or around Q4 ng 2024, wherein nagkaroon ng issue sa production or nagkaroon ng computer issue si Toyota Race. So there was this news na nag-came out wherein nire-recall ngayon yung lahat ng na-produce na Toyota Race kasi they do have computer issue daw. Kaya natin paulit-ulit namin na-mention kanina, how is it very important or why is it very important yung design phase pa lang during the upstream cost ng every product. Kasi dun sa design, dun magde-determine pa lang kung would it would be beneficial ba? Yung bang magiging design is magtatagal, yung na-design ba natin is magtatagal, or hindi ba magkakaroon ng problema yan in the future. So yun yung how is it, yun yung ina-emphasize natin during the discussion about the design phase kanina. Although, very minimal nga naman ang investment sa design, pero it is very critical. Kasi yung execution, yung implementation, yung mass production, nakadepende dun sa naging conceptual design. So, I will no longer take this discussion too long. I just wanted to conclude this by saying that mastering cost management for sustainable success. So, effective life cycle costing is not just an accounting exercise. It is a strategic imperative for long-term profitability and competitive advantage. So, apat, essential for profitability, smarter decisions, holistic control, and continuous analysis. So, this is just a part of your chapter 4, but it is very important kasi still part of your cost management. I hope I'll make things clear. So, on the next chapter, we will discuss your decentralized operations and segment reporting naman for chapter 9. Again, that would be the end of our discussion for the cost management for product life cycle costing, and long-term pricing, target costing, and of course, your theory of constraint. Thank you.